The most consequential win of the weekend? The Rams whipping the Niners up in not San Francisco. Yeah, with Andy Reid serving as the Kool-Aid-sized exception, today's NFL runs almost entirely through the forest of coaching trees planted by Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Specific to McVay v. Kyle, Shanny's had Sean's number. So it's significant, maybe even essential, given the rise of the Seahawks in the West, that LA not only survived San Fran, but wrecked them. Matter of fact, with the Chargers' dominant win, it's officially not just a fairy tale to imagine LA's two teams heading up the coast for a showdown in that same stadium in early February. Speaking of, the most consequential loss is a tie between that Steelers humiliation and the Bills getting hammered by Tua and company. Of course, the distinction here is Buffalo's got the cheat code named Josh Allen, who provides ongoing cover for William and Mary grad Sean McDermott, just like prime Ben Roethlisberger used to for Sean's William and Mary classmate Mike Tomlin. Now, Buffalo's going to be fine. They've got a superhero at QB. As we've learned over and over, fine isn't good enough in the conference of Mahomes, and if you're a hardcore Bills pessimist, you may be acknowledging Foxborough Drake just spiraled a half-empty glass through the window Tom Brady left open when he ditched town not so long ago. And the Steelers, they knocked their glass on the floor and shattered it themselves. Turns out structuring the offense around an old guy whose priority is to not get hit ain't a great plan. I think we might need Pablo Torre to deep dive what exactly they were teaching football majors at William and Mary. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but 17th century rulers William and Mary were great and powerful rulers of Britain. That is until Mary II died of smallpox. Poignant, perhaps, as the Bills and Steelers are dying from the pox of small ideas, or at least outmoded ones, in McVay and Shanny's league. Let's start the show. Hi and hello, my fellow football Americans. Welcome to Football America, episode number 24. We've got Geoff Schwartz coming up with his points per game, or at least the games that matter, and Zaslow show host and Le Batard show star, Jonathan Zaslow, on the way. Real quick, fellas, we honor the episode number with the player who wore it best. Some good NFL ones to choose from. Who you got? Mike and Gino and Mike Fuentes. Is it Chaz Woodson?
I only know Kobe Bryant, for being honest.
Champ Bailey, Pac-Man Jones, Marshawn Lynch, Lenny Moore, Ty Law.
I'm going
other sports, Willie Mays a little bit better.
I'm going Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Junior. Yeah, that's
I always said
good.
Yeah. Ken Griffey Jr. was a guy that, like, if you would have found out he did steroids, everybody's heartbroken simultaneously, right? Like, that's the one guy.
That's the one.
Yeah, like, if you found out that he did steroids, all of baseball's bullshit. I never want to watch this again. Just close up all the stadiums. That we're done here.
I agree with you. But if we're going football, I'm going Champ Bailey.
Champ number one. You know what? I know Chaz Woodson's deeds outstrip anyone else's, but I think my favorite of that group is Marshawn Lynch. I expect him to go to the Hall of Fame, although I haven't heard that confirmed by any of the voters saying, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna give him my vote." Football American of the Week. Shout out to Aiden Hutchinson. Congratulations on the big new deal and dominating in football and all of that. But man, this is one of those guys who goes into the hospitals and visits the very sick children. I have the greatest admiration in the world for anybody who can summon the courage to do that. We talk all the time about running into other guys at full speed and all of that. This is balls to go in there and look those kids in the eyes and put a smile on your face and make their days a little bit brighter with what they're going through. I have the greatest respect for anybody. You won't hear me say too much bad about Russell Wilson or J.J. Watt or anyone else who is willing to do that and do it on the regular like that. Now, Weird American of the Week goes to our own producer, Bradley Campbell, who texted us in the middle of the weekend, me and Mike at least, to show us that he had just won some Frisbee tournament. What the hell is going on with you? You are the strangest soul I've ever met in my life.
Hey, I'm the top disc golfer in New York City right now. It's great. I have the one tag. I got the throne. It's a massive accomplishment, and I just wanted to share it with my friends.
Jonathan Zaslow, how say you? Welcome back to the show, one of our favorites to visit with. Zaz, what are your thoughts on a grown man out there throwing a Frisbee around? Where were you again? I assume out in Central Park against a bunch of children?
Kisco, Leonard Park. Yep. No. All adults.
I'm not a Frisbee throwing guy. Like, I'm okay at it, but once in a while, I'll pick up a Frisbee, and if I throw it, it's like a duck, you know, and that to me is embarrassing, you know.
That is a good point. Some people just don't have the gift. I don't think I'm really I'll never be. I could spend all my. It's sort of like I've always said to people as a 3-time Connect Four champion myself. I can see if the first game you play, either you've got the gift or you don't. Yeah. You can learn up a little bit, but you're never going to be a master if you don't got it from day one. It's one of those kind of things. Zaz, question number 2 for you is, have you ever used in your travels through life, have you ever used the phrase make love in a sincere way to a woman? Let's make love.
No. I don't talk like that, Dave. You would never catch me saying, do you want to go make love? No.
Do you think any man, because it's said all the time in movies and in songs too, but I contend this belongs on my vast list of things that happen in movies but never have happened in real life. Do you think any man has ever said that with sincere? I mean, you could joke about it, but like, let's make love.
Man, I don't want to know that guy. I can't hang out with that guy who with a straight face, he says to his girl, let's go make love.
Well, I mean, if it's his girl, then it's fine. She's probably used to him. Now, random woman at a bar, probably not. That'd be an odd thing, I think, to say to some.
I mean, I'd laugh so hard in my friend's face if I knew that he talks like that. Nah, get out of here with that language.
Well, the missus and I were making love last night. Like, what?
Good for you.
Well, I don't need to hear the rest of this because you and I are no longer friends. See ya.
I was about to say congrats on the sex.
Yeah, big night for you. Yeah. Sunday night. Good for you.
Gino Fuentes, have you ever applied this phrase?
Jokingly, yes.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No,
right?
In real life,
I mean,
no.
Like,
Serious talk, no.
All right. And I think that's a good way to jump into the jerk list here. Of course, this is when we evaluate and point the Han Solo Edition blaster at all knee jerkers out there and any garden variety jerks that we cross paths with in our travels through life, like fellas who say, make love. In fact, give them a quick taste, Mike. You're a jerk. There we go. First up, who's going first? Providing us with me and Zaz have to evaluate some nominees for the jerk list this week. Take it away, Fuentes boys.
We'll start off here with, if it wasn't for the stink of the Cleveland Browns, the 2 teams in the Big Apple would be the 2 worst teams in football.
Sad. How say you, Zaz?
I'm going no jerk there. I still have, despite the Saints win over the weekend, and certainly the Tennessee Titans. I think those teams are worse than the Giants and the Jets. Like the Giants, part of the reason that the Giants are in the spot that they're in right now, where Daboll just got fired, is because there have been a handful of games this year the Giants should have won. So I definitely don't have the Giants there. And like I said, even though the Saints won this weekend, Panthers are a weird team. I think Saints and Titans are both worse.
I think the Giants are better off than the Jets, just keeping it to the 2 New York teams / New Jersey teams, because they have the answer, it would seem, at the only position that really matters. And, yeah, the Saints are lost at sea as well. That would not be a great team to be rooting for. Although Tyler Shuck, I guess, gets his first win. Maybe that's some reason for optimism.
But if we're talking like worst team to root for, I would look in like a bigger context, and I still think the worst team to root for is Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah. I think that is the worst of them all, because they disgraced themselves unnecessarily by not only pushing out Baker Mayfield, they had the answer there, but by doing it to bring in the shameful Deshaun Watson. And so you're expected, I guess, to kind of toe the line and stand by that. It's a big mess. And also, you got to be bummed out, to your point about the team in Nashville. They, on purpose, pushed out Mike Vrabel, and I don't know whatever happened to him, but I suspect he's thriving wherever he is right now. Next on the jerk list.
All right. The Bills ain't shit, and McDermott is wasting Josh Allen's prime.
Ooh, Zaz.
Well, I'm going no jerk there too, because while I'm not a big fan of McDermott, I mean, is it McDermott's call to not put better talent, better playmakers around Josh Allen on the offensive side? I feel like he's not trying to not have good guys around him, so I wouldn't put that on McDermott. So I'm gonna go no jerk.
I feel like, as I said in the monologue today, I do think that there was something in the waters at William and Mary way back when McDermott and Tomlin were there, because the exact same thing seems to be happening with both of their teams, and it can't be a coincidence. They are limiting in their philosophy, I feel like. And in fact, it's their defenses that let down last decade Ben Roethlisberger, who was still in his prime, and are now letting down Josh Allen in big spots in January. You don't really put the blame on 17 when the games start to matter in the playoffs. I think it's more about the defense falling off a little bit against high-end teams, right?
Yeah, well, certainly when we get to the playoffs, it's never like, oh, Josh Allen stunk in the playoffs and he can't get over the hump as a result. No, it's Josh Allen's usually pretty great. He ends up getting outdueled by Patrick Mahomes, and you're right, it's the defense as opposed to, another guy in the AFC that we say can't get over the hump in Lamar Jackson. When the Ravens fall short in the playoffs, it's usually because Lamar Jackson and the offense did not play well. So you're right. When it comes down to the games that actually matter, it winds up being the defense that seems to let Buffalo down.
Well, and it's especially bad, I think, more so than it is with John Harbaugh, because what we are expected to accept is that McDermott and Tomlin are defensive whizzes, and I don't see much evidence of that being true in either situation. So does that make them a jerk or not? I've lost my way here, Mike and Gino. If you want to apply the blaster, have at it.
I'm going to take the blaster.
I thought we got a little half one there.
Yeah, I did. I got a little fat finger on the thing here. But anyway, next up. If the Patriots,
you made, would you say you made love to that button?
You got to get off that. We're past that.
Blaster went limp there.
Yeah, we're past that. We're way past that. Anyway,
okay. All right.
If the Patriots win the AFC East, Drake Maye has to be the MVP.
Ooh, Zaz.
They'd also be a 1 seed, I believe, in the AFC if that's the case.
I think it stands MVP, now, right?
Regular season award. Remember that.
Wow. I mean, other candidates we're talking about. We're talking Daniel Jones, although he has not been great recently. We're definitely talking Jonathan Taylor, although if Saquon Barkley wasn't going to win it last year,
let's be serious here.
How could Taylor wind up winning it this year?
Keep up, Zaz. They're never going to do it, man.
You're right.
I 100% agree with you, but these voters have given themselves the fallback of Offensive Player of the Year so that they can have it both ways.
I mean, Sam Darnold? Are we going to have a conversation about Sam Darnold? Probably not.
Excuse me? What?
You know about Sam Darnold?
I know about Sam Darnold. Probably not, though. Wow. You know what? I think I'm going jerk. I think so.
So that's a positive.
Yeah, that's a positive.
Okay, we'll give it anyway.
So he stays clean.
Yeah.
No blaster there, Mike Fuentes.
But
you know the rules.
It is a jerk,
Drake Maye would be the MVP. I think that's a solid, rational statement.
But I agree. Yeah, I'm saying it's a solid, rational statement. That's right.
So no jerk.
Okay, no jerk.
No jerk.
No jerk then.
Blaster anyway?
No jerk.
Next.
Well, one for you for getting it confused.
It's deserved. Deserved.
Okay, I contend epidurals should be considered PEDs because Matt Stafford could not move in the preseason. Got an epidural, having the best season of his career.
Sass.
Now, again, if I agree, is it jerk or no jerk?
I think if you disagree,
No, it's a rational thought, and so you're not knee-jerk reacting.
Okay.
Guys, it's week 10. We got to get this straight.
I disagree.
Jazz only been here once.
I disagree. So I'm going jerk right there. I'm in favor of any type of PED that allows my guy to play. I think everybody should be taking a PED then. Why would I want a guy? Why would there be medicine for someone to get out there and play, but we're not going to let them use the medicine so they can't play and we don't get to enjoy their gift? So, no, I like epidurals. Shoot them up.
I like Zaz's rationalization right at the end of that monologue there. It's we're just trying to enjoy your gifts. That's
Share your
all.
gift.
That's all we're doing.
Share your gift with the
our
world.
side. I like that. And by the way, I hate to do this to Gino Fuentes, but you're the one who had to go in with the moral conundrum of taking a shot to get out there for our play. We're just trying to enjoy you. Not only is it okay for him to be taking the epidural to take the Rams to perhaps greater heights than they've been at for, in the history of the franchise until he arrived there a few years ago, to even bring this up puts you up on Mount Pius. How dare you judge him? You're the jerk, Joe. Taste the blaster. There you go. Take it. Enjoy it. Hey, I have one I'd like to bring up here because The last time Zaz was in for the jerk list, I mentioned this one, and he agreed with me. And I don't know what it is. I said something on social media. You know, I'm an Indiana University graduate, so of course I'm watching the Hoosiers in a big spot in Happy Valley, and they gave up a 20-7 lead, but then they rallied back, as I'm sure everybody saw, and they scored a dramatic, insane touchdown in which Cooper gets his left foot down, improbably and probably defying the laws of physics to do so, to win the game for the Indiana Hoosiers. And it was kind of, sort of, not spoiled, but at least it was diminished by the distraction that is Gus Johnson's call. Can we hear that real quick?
In trouble! It's out! Touchdown! Wow! A play! Unbelievable!
What in the hell, Zaz?
You know what, Dave, I'm glad you brought this up, and I'm glad to hear somebody agrees with me. It's an awful call. It just is. And I've been saying this for a while with Gus Johnson. There's this huge, I don't know if fascination is the right word, because, I mean, man, he's been a big-time broadcaster for like 25 years now, all right? He's not new. And I feel like the grand majority of listeners and viewers really, really like him. I don't get it. Like, doesn't do it for me. I don't appreciate the play in the first quarter sounding the same as the play to win the game. And that's what you get with Gus Johnson. And that call right there, like, it's just a bunch of yelling. And I don't get it, Dave. It doesn't do anything for me.
There, among many others who jumped on me for posting that thought, that I find him, that he takes some of the fun out of watching a college football game away. Among many others, former Steelers offensive lineman Trey Essex jumped in to say, this is wrong. When Gus makes a call like that, it proves he's one of us. And then a lot of other people said, like, boy, you must be a lot of fun at parties, which begs the question, do you go to parties and talk to women about Gus Johnson's calls? Because that's weird. Because I just go up to them and say, let's make love. No, I don't do either one of those things. But I do feel like a curmudgeon for saying that. But it seems pretty clear to me and to a lot of other people, including you and me, Zaz, who it's performative. Yes. Of course, he's excited, and of course, you have to gin that up a little bit if you're a professional play-by-play guy, but it's every call on every play that happens. He's not that enthusiastic about everything. And by the way, just quality of sound, how it hits your ear, I hilariously already quipped. He sounds like Lloyd Christmas in the dog van in Dumb and Dumber, making the most annoying sound in the world. I mean, that's exactly what he sounds like, making that call. I mean, what the hell? How's that supposed to? How does that heighten the pleasure of watching this game? I don't get it. And if you like Gus, I hate to say it, you're a jerk. Mike and Gino, agree or no?
I also do not get the Gus Johnson hype. Zaz said it perfectly this week on Levitard. When the first touchdown and the last touchdown sound the same, there's just not anything. It's more like a shriek. It's too much what I would do at home if I'm an Indiana fan than professional broadcaster is supposed to be giving me something.
Right. That's right. That's exactly. That's well said, Mike. Right. If I'm doing that in my house, like he's one of us. I don't want him to be one of us. I don't want one of us to be a professional.
Call. Yeah.
Yeah, I have enough me. I don't need more me. I have me. Yeah.
Yeah, you want, okay, is that what you want, Football America? You want Dameshek on the call? Because I'll do it. I'll make love to the microphone. Next.
Still on the make love thing. I think Bradley has one for us, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I got one. So now that Football America has completely embraced the Sam Darnold MVP take that I had in week one, I think it's time to make sweet, sweet romance to the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl favorite take.
Zaz, how say you on the Hawks in the NFC?
I'm not a believer because I feel like we saw this with the Vikings last year. Like, what's the difference right now? Their record was probably the same.
And they're almost the same team, if you think about it. Strong defense, one great receiver, Sam Darnold's your quarterback.
Like, I've seen Sam Darnold with the great regular season and the team with the great record and in first place. And then in the two biggest games of Sam Darnold's career, Week 18 last year, and then the wild card game, he was awful. So I got to see it.
I like the Seahawks. I don't think ultimately. Well, the Packers remain my Super Bowl pick in the here and now, and I think I like as much as mighty as that defense that Mike McDonald and I said it the day that they took him from Baltimore that it was going to hurt the Ravens defense, and it took them a while to transition, and I don't know that they've fully recovered from the absence of McDonald. They're loaded up there. I still think I like the Rams in a head-to-head there, and it might be a part of a Final Four showdown in the NFC. We may see those two division foes go head-to-head. I'm buying the Hawks right now. I get the Sam Darnold concern. Yes. I don't think he's an MVP candidate, though, if that's what you're asking.
Bradley cited some charts and stuff in one of our group messages, and I don't know where he got those numbers, but right now,
Nate Silver, not like charts from Nate Silver, like the top statistician in the United States,
Silver Schmilver.
has the Seahawks at the very top.
What's he ever done? Thank you, Zaz. I go by our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, and right now they have the Seahawks the fourth best odds. Right now, the top is the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 600, the LA Rams at plus 700, the Detroit Lions at plus 850, the Seahawks, Eagles, and Colts all at plus 900.
Wow. Now, how about that? The Rams are that high up there.
Yeah, plus
I like it.
Shortest odds, favorite. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, second shortest. Chiefs number one, 600, Rams plus 700. Kind of surprising.
How about that with the Chiefs where they are in the standings being the best team to get to the most likely team to get to the Super Bowl? That's pretty wild stuff. Hey Zaz, we like to not just do knee-jerk reactions, but garden variety jerks as well. Do you have any that you'd like to share with us today?
So my flight home this past weekend. Saturday night, I was flying home from Tuscaloosa.
It's always on the airplanes, ain't it?
Oh, people's behavior on airplanes / airports, it's an abomination. And I'm on, listen to this, all right? I'm on the plane, we're getting ready to take off, and the woman next to me, I got my AirPods in my ears because I'm watching something on my iPad, and I have my phone, on the huge armrest. I fly first class, Dave. I don't know if you know that. So I have my phone on the huge armrest right next to me, and the woman next to me, she starts pointing at my phone, getting my attention because I got the AirPods in, and she's pointing at my phone, and I'm like, oh, what do you want? Stop bothering me. And so she then picks up her phone and pulls up the airplane mode and points at it. She's telling me to put my phone on airplane mode. What is that?
I've had this. Yeah. It's a resident of Mount Pius monitoring your behavior. Mind your own business.
Mind your own business.
Right? I hear you. The only person who bugs me worse than the person who does that on an airplane, because I've had this exact same thing happen, is I don't know properly if you call it a person, but my car, 21st century cars in general, with the getting involved in whether or not I have my seatbelt on. If I'm just running the 200 yards down the street to pick up the kids at school, and I'm just gonna real quick, bing, bing, bing. Hey, what's it your business what I'm up to? When I need my mom, I'll call her in Pittsburgh. Car,
Dave.
I didn't ask you to get involved in my shoulder strap business,
Dave,
right?
Dave, you're so right. I'm in my car, and if I'm on the street and my tire touches the lines in the middle of the road for the lanes. My car starts vibrating like it's going to explode.
Look, that's bullshit, because I feel like that can make me crash.
Yeah.
More like the car just decides, hey, I don't want you in that lane.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's like the car's going to explode all of a sudden. Let me drive the way I want.
Yeah, right. Listen, the fact that I'm inside you should be enough for you to understand that I thought we were on the same team. Yeah. Now you're working against me?
Yeah, talk about making love,
inside you.
That's
good.
Whether it's making love or not, maybe it's a straight up business transaction. Either way, work with me, not against me. Right?
That's
what
what
are
I'm
we
saying.
doing here? Cars and people who involve themselves in whether or not you're on airplane mode or not, all are jerks.
Can you imagine?
There we go.
Can you imagine, Dave, if our plane was about to go down Do you think she would have started yelling at me because my phone was not on airplane mode?
That's the way Karen would want to go out.
This is your fault.
As they say, like, oh, that's that. You know, if you got to go, that's how you want to go, doing what you love. And that's what Karen would love to go out doing, because nothing Karen loves more than berating other people for stuff that she has no involvement in. Last thing, Zaz, before you go, I appreciated your thoughts. You saw Indiana Danny Dimes with the mouth full of blood and the teeth. And I enjoyed your quip on the Dan Lebitard show. You compared Danny Dimes to who?
I said that he looked like who did I compare?
I think it was a
You got
Joker
her
thing.
name and everything. Aunt Gladys.
She
Aunt
looked like Aunt
Gladys
Gladys
from
from Weapons, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. I mean, first I said that it looked like he had vampire wings, which is a very disgusting reference. And then, yes, I said that he looked like Aunt Gladys from Weapons. Everybody knows I love that movie, Weapons. It's available now. You can stream it if you haven't seen it.
One battle after another, better than that. Sinner's probably better than that.
Is one
I
battle
like
after
Weapons.
another streaming yet, or is it still just in theaters?
No, I think it's still looming around theaters. I don't think it's out yet
Okay.
streaming-wise, yeah.
Oh, you must check it out.
Yeah.
It's a grand picture. I went with, for what does Danny Dimes look like there? Did everybody used to have to do those things in grade school, those chewable orange pink things that like you would choose and it would show how well you're brushing? Or is that
No.
just me? Because that's what
No.
it looked like to me.
I've never seen that.
Nobody ever had
Never
that?
heard of that before.
Every year at school, we would have to do this thing. You choose this thing, and it would shame you basically in front of your peers. Like if you weren't brushing well, it would show up dark pink, sort of like the thing. I've never seen it happen in a pool. That if you pee in the pool,
Oh, yeah.
or is that
That doesn't
a myth?
Die. That's a real thing.
That doesn't exist.
That's a real
That
thing.
doesn't
Yes, it
exist.
is.
That is a real thing? Well, anyway, yeah, in my school, on the banks of the Three Rivers, they did these little tablets that you would chew, and then some percentage of kids, you'd be like, oh, they don't brush well at home.
Did you ever show up like that? Did you ever get caught?
Oh, no, Mo Dameshek was over my shoulder every morning, making sure the pearly white stayed pearly.
Good.
Hey, Zaz, you make this show, you make the Lebitard show, and you make the Zaslow show pearly and pristine every go-around. I appreciated being on it, as a matter of fact, last week. That was good times. Always good times when you shadow our door here on Football America. Thanks, pal. Until the next time. Safe travels.
It's great making love to all the football Americans. Thank you, Dave.
Real quick programming note coming up on Friday's episode of Football America. Jessica Smetana, she'll get us right for her Notre Dame Fighting Irish, paying a visit to the banks of the Three Rivers to play 24th ranked Pitt. Looking forward to that. Always delightful to yap with her, so looking forward to that. In the meantime, speaking of delightful, especially after his Ducks rallied to win in a tough Iowa City environment. I was awful nervous with him after he was shooting his mouth off online and on the show and otherwise. I'm like, come on, we're going to lose to Iowa? Just about did. Same goes for my Hoosiers, too. It's Geoff Schwartz from Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You and Beyond. How are you, fella?
I'm glad we won because we should have. We were better. And that's the thing about playing in Iowa City, right, Dave? Is like a lot of teams go in there and play better, and Iowa just grinds out a win, and we out Iowa in a game where we made 3 field goals, and they had a safety on a bad punt snap, and they fumbled the ball and turned it over twice, and we got it done. Though it's all that matters, man. Win in advance, and look, when you're out wide receiver 1 and tight end 1 and your right tackle and you're beat up other positions. I mean, we're really down our top 2 wide receivers. Our number 1 hasn't played all season. So it was a good win, man. I'll take it. Here's what it was. It was, to me, I'm proud of the win because I knew we had this physicality in us, and we have shown that a lot this season. But for some reason, people still look at Oregon as a Chip Kelly team. It's not what our team is anymore. And this game sort of showed that this is not what Oregon is. And so that's why I was so proud of the way that they won that game.
The thing that swings games, obviously, since the dawn of time is turnovers. And people always point to the only statistic that matters is the turnovers. It's like, well, the final score disagrees with that. And if that is in fact the case, then stop showing me all the other statistics because we can cut to the chase and show me the turnovers. But the reason why it's unsatisfying to reference those is because I don't feel like they're ultimately transferable. Now, in the early part of this century, it did seem to me that Bill Belichick determined somewhere, and he had some dominant defenses in the early days of Brady, that at some point he transitioned into, it's not about playing shutdown defense because that's not plausible anyway. It's about turning the other team over an extra time or two. Are turnovers something that you can depend upon? Because
No.
I'm referring back to my football team, ultimately here, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who look real good, and everybody's like, oh, they're for real, so long as they're forcing multiple turnovers against Drake Maye and against Danny Dimes and otherwise, but they're perfectly mortal, if not something subpar, when they don't do it.
I actually think the opposite is true, Dave, where you can actually fade a team because they have too much turnover luck, essentially, right? Like, to me, it's mostly luck, right? Now, of course, a badly thrown pass, right, and is intercepted is skill. But there are times when balls are thrown on 3rd and 12 that are like arm punts that you intercept the ball. Like, is that really a great skilled play? And there are times when you punch a ball out. Like, that's a skilled play, but then the recovery is a lot of luck. You know how hard it is to recover a fumble? It's much harder than you think it is, by the way. I've tried. I've done it a couple times. I've failed other times. It's just luck, man. It's just so, but we often see it go in the other direction. We're like, again, Pittsburgh, you turn the ball over, you force 11 turnovers in 2 of these wins. And I don't think they turned the ball over all last night, and you're not going to win. And how many times do we see like teams go the postseason and they're plus 20 in turnovers? They're not really a good team, and they don't force any turnovers in a playoff game. They lose by 3 touchdowns. So to me, the other way goes where it's not really a skill per se. It's actually, I think, it ends up being a deterrent in the games where it matters a lot. And so, yeah, that's the way I view turnovers. To me, it's explosive plays, Dave. That's what it is, right? NFL a little bit less, but in college football, if you can get explosive plays, Oregon's number 2 in the country in offense in that, and they're number 1 in the defense in limiting explosive plays on the other side. That to me is what the game is, because, and Iowa's a great example of this. It transfers to the NFL a little bit, but it's easier in the NFL to have long drives. In college football, if you continually force your opponent to have 10, 12, 13 play drives, they're going to mess up one of those plays. It's college football. They're going to have a turnover. They're going to give up a sack, going to have a false start, going to have a holding, going to have a guy slip and fall. Like, something bad's going to happen. And the longer it takes for you to score, the worse the result is going to be. On the other side, like offensively, right? You want to score as fast as possible for the same reason. You don't want to have 12 play drives. NFL's a little different. NFL, they're professionals. You can have longer drives, have success. But in college football, to me, it's about explosive plays. The NFL, I get it. You want to force turnovers. It's hard to do.
But even in the NFL, for the last few years, that's been the story, right? Is limiting big plays is the strategy of every
Correct.
DC.
Yeah, but that's more of like the passing stuff, right? Like, teams playing too high, right? In the quarters coverage, just trying to eliminate those plays. Because I think again, it just becomes tougher the more plays it takes to score, the more bad things can happen. In college football, and it just happens more regularly, where team has a long drive and just, how often do you see 12, 13, 14 play drives and no points? It happens all the time in college football. It doesn't happen very often in the NFL, unless there's a missed kick, obviously.
Gino Fuentes took to social media over the weekend to bellyache, and I have a hard time when I'm feeling curmudgeonly. I have a hard time disagreeing with what he had to say, which is, I mean, how do you even wager on pro football games, right, Gino, with some of these results?
It's the Bills, man. The Bills are my prime example. They couldn't beat a team with more than 1 win earlier this year. Then they go and beat KC, and then they come back and lose to the Dolphins and get dominated by the Dolphins.
Well, I mean, I can never advise you to take a road favorite of 9 points in a division game. That might be a problem that you have to figure out yourself.
Did you say that in advance? Because I thought that number was awfully fishy, forgive the pun, involving the Dolphins. But for real, I thought, I did say that, if memory serves, Mike and Gino. I did say, man, that number's too low, so low, in fact, that it stinks and maybe you should bet the Dolphins as a result of that. But still, it's how do you explain not them losing the game, but them getting whipped by Miami?
I'm not one to talk because my record on my podcast is like 30% this year, even though I had my first winning week in like a month. So that was nice this week. NFL sides are the hardest market, Dave. That's why it's just the hardest. It's just a certain number. It's only a limited number of games. You have all week to sort of get the numbers in and figure out that numbers don't move very much. You have injury reports. Like in college football, you can take advantage sometimes of knowing inside information, right? Like I knew Oregon was going to miss a couple of guys. I didn't say to bet Iowa, but if I knew that beforehand, I would have bet Iowa, right? Like the NFL, you don't get any of this information. So there's no advantage anywhere. And then we say any given Sunday, like that's what it is, right? Where last week was a good example, the Dolphins game you mentioned, just the weirdness happens. So, the Jets at one point on Sunday, game was tied at 17 in the third quarter, they had 5 yards passing.
Is it the dumbest remark out there when people do that thing of like, hey, the U could beat the Dolphins or some iteration of that kind of college team?
Of course it's dumb.
Well, I mean, obviously it's dumb, but I find the college structure maybe a little more satisfying, which is when a team is favored by double digits, they tend to cover by double digits. I mean, they tend to cover and whip the team and do what you anticipated them doing.
Right.
It ranges wildly to the point of it being almost coin flip kind of stuff. Explain away the Panthers winning in Lambeau, then losing by 10 to the atrocious Saints in an 8-day stretch. It's bizarre. It's inexplicable, basically, right? And what it says to me is when I talk about why a college team would never beat a pro team is because the NFL is wired intentionally to have parity. And so all these teams are fairly close, and these results that feel like coin flips, I think are unsatisfying, but the networks love them and the league loves it for, I think, fairly obvious reasons. And the only reason that you don't just have every team's number eventually come up, as parity would theoretically provide, is abject ineptitude from some percentage of teams, right? I mean, management-wise.
Yeah.
And then a high-end quarterback who can obscure the flaws of the rest of the team.
Even though that didn't work this weekend with Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, the reason why we love the NFL is that any given Sunday, it's just, you never know.
But do you love that?
I don't bet very much in the NFL. Like for this exact reason. Like I like it as a consumer. Yeah, I turn the TV on every Sunday and who the hell knows what's going to happen. But it's not fun to bet on if that's what we're talking about. It's terrible to wager on the NFL. You just don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, look, it's just the middle of the season to like we're starting to really get a divide of teams where I thought after this week, Dave, there are a lot of teams going up, and a lot of teams going down, not a lot in the middle. As injuries start happening, as coaches get fired, as players start maybe having an eye to when they're packing their house up and going home and where they're going this offseason, like you're going to start seeing, I think, more of a split of, like the Commanders yesterday just like imploded, man. And like they guy thrown out for punching someone. They're arguing with they're imploding before our eyes. You don't get that as much in college.
You know what? The 17th game, for whatever reason, has exacerbated that effect, too. Last year, it was weird. Like the last month, there were teams that were just plainly had given up, in November at some point and were just playing out the string. And I felt that much more than I had in previous seasons.
Yeah, I mean, part of that just like when you're bad, you're bad. Now you have one extra game to be bad. It kind of sucks to have the one extra game to be terrible. But this weekend to me in the NFL was so much about like teams going up and teams going way down. And like the middle ground now in the NFL, I think is not really there anymore. Like I feel very comfortable with who's making the playoffs and who's not. Now, what seed, I don't know. but sort of the teams I think are good and bad really separated themselves.
It's a great point you make, because people always obsess over, I have, because it's existed, is that meaty middle class. But you're absolutely right. All you have to do is look at the standings. You think that loss is going to cost your team or that team a playoff slot. But really, in both conferences, as it stands right now, I think there are about 8 teams fighting it out for those 7 spots. I off the top of my head, I can't tell. Like the Niners are sliding, and they're in a brute of a division, but they're 8, and it does feel like they're going to be able to hang around at minimum, probably work their way in.
Yeah, their schedule is so easy. But look, like that's
and
the
the
point.
Texans are the team on the other side who may sneak up there and disrupt what I'm saying. But I think it's ultimately your point is well taken.
Because think about the back half of the NFC after the Niners. Okay. It's Carolina, Minnesota, Dallas, Arizona, Atlanta. Like none of those teams are making the playoffs.
Maybe Dallas with those new pieces, I guess.
Maybe, and then you look at on the NFC, on the AFC side. Now the Baltimore is the one where they're 10, but that's the outlier, right? Like Houston, probably not, and the Bengals, even though they open up Joe Burrow's practice window, I don't playing him at any point this year feels like not a great long-term decision. If you're out of the playoffs, what your problem has not been your offense. You're scoring 40 points a game. Like you don't need him back this season unless he plays defense all of a sudden. The risk of that, and the bottom of the AFC is just so bad right now. I mean, the Jets obviously won, but the Raiders are terrible. The Browns are terrible. The Titans are so bad.
Hey, you mentioned the Carolina Panthers, and you played for them, and you enjoyed the city so much you decided to make your life there, you and the missus and everything else. While you were playing, you had a teammate, Matt Khalil. Now, he had a wife too, but now they're divorced. I think he has a new wife, but she said they couldn't be married anymore because, first of all, first question, side question, because when they would attempt to make love, it was uncomfortable. Because he was, as she described, 2 Coke cans stacked on top of each other, maybe 3. First question, Geoff, have you ever sincerely used the words, let's make love?
In a sincere manner, no, I have not.
No. Have you ever heard anybody say that?
Just now, yeah. It was a little off-putting.
That was me being sincere to Geoff about my desires. All right, fine. It's out there for everybody to know now. It's been a long play for Dave.
I'm gonna ask my wife after 12 hours of work today. Do you want to make love tonight? And see what she says.
She'll probably react exactly how I'm reacting right now, or maybe it'll be a more curt, ooh.
I'll be in the middle of watching the Eagles Packers game. I'll turn to her. Do you want to make love tonight? I'll see what she says.
What goes on in this locker room?
So I play with Ryan, by the way, his brother in Carolina. I played with Matt 1 year in Minnesota when he was a rookie.
Oh.
I did this when we talked about Travis Kelce, because Taylor took him out of the song saying he had a giant hammer as well. I don't remember a lot of my teammates. There were some that were very well endowed that I do recall, because we would just marvel and we would not snicker, but we'd say to their face, we'd be like, that thing must hurt.
Congratulations, that kind of thing. Is that what you do? You extend muzzle tufts to them? Or
yeah,
what?
we do. I say muzzle tough.
You like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Every rookie that comes in, you're like, muzzle tough. No, I do not recall Matt Khalil, what he appeared like. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I listened to what she said, and I've listened to her. I searched what she said, and she said it in a different podcast that her and Matt are still friendly. It just didn't work out. The marriage just didn't work out. It was what it was. They're still friendly. He's very private. I don't talk about him very much. And then also he has a giant hammer. I don't understand how you could say he's private. I don't really want to talk about him. I like our relationship. Oh, by the way, it didn't work out because it was too painful to have sex. I feel like those don't really align in how we're talking about our former husband.
And then she also said something like that. We actually went so far as they sought help. which I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what kind of help you're chasing.
So if you were interviewing her, what would the follow up be after that? Like what help? Like what do you what?
What can you get specific about exactly what you were getting into with that? The other thing I find fascinating about nudity in the locker room is the female reporter thing. And some guys, I've asked about this. It's got to be super weird for everybody involved. And I've talked to female reporters.
Yeah,
and they say, this is bizarre. And some guys are abusive about it. Like they love to walk.
Yeah,
around
there were guys that like would just like take their towel down immediately when the women came around the locker room. So the Panthers owner, when I was there, Mr. Richardson, Jerry Richardson, he was very big into handshaking. No matter he was very formal. He wanted guys to if you were in
handshaking other guys' hands is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, other guys' hands. But when you were in the meal room and he was there, you had to get up and shake his hand. Hello, Mr. Richardson. Very formal, right? Which is fine. That was his thing. So one time I saw him coming down the locker room. It was after practice, and I didn't want to. I'm getting changed. I just didn't want to deal with an interaction. So I hurried up to get out of my pads and get in the shower. Well, I crossed across the locker room butt naked at the same time as he was crossing, and he stopped me in the middle of the locker room, just butt naked. Hey Jeff, how you doing? I had to shake his hand, just hand on the crotch. How you doing, Mr. Richardson? Good to see you. Completely butt naked. A very awkward interaction with the owner. That's the only time in my 8 years I was ever face to face with the owner wearing no clothes.
One time, my friends and I went out to play a round of golf, and we were marveling at what goes on. What age do you just get comfortable at just hanging brain, just standing around talking about the round of golf with the
early 50s.
With the guys, and you just start to just talking nude. Inside, why not put on a pair of underpants before you have the conversation? Nope, not going to bother with that. And as we were walking through the locker room, we saw. I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. There's an old man. You could see him way at the end, and this was back in the days when they still had payphones.
Yeah.
And you could see an old man sitting, and there was a seat in the payphone.
Yeah.
And he was sitting nude. He was sitting nude in the payphone, public phone. I was like, that. Oh my God, can you imagine? And as we got closer, yep, it was my old man.
No way.
Yeah, it was my old man. I mean, it was, I didn't know what to say.
You didn't recognize him from far away?
And I recognized him when, as my friends and I approached, he started waving at us. Yeah.
So I'm glad this is such a great topic. I think it's mid 50s because I remember my mom's gym on Sepulveda, used to be Sports Club LA. I'd go in there, work out in the off season. And that was the cutoff line. The amount of nakedness, the older you got. I mean, there were dudes in the mid 60s, they were just hot tub butt naked. Just didn't care at all whatsoever. It was about that. That's when the cutoff, 50-ish was when guys just walked around naked. Even older was naked in the steam room, naked in the hot tub. It's way too much. I'm enough of the nakedness.
Yeah. Hey, last thing, I appreciated, it's too much on the subject. One last thing to get in with you is I appreciated Geoff Schwartz reaching out over the weekend with a nominee for the jerk list. A Jordan Reed tweet says that GM of I don't know which teams are where were among a heavy contingent in attendance, scouts, in other words, to watch the Indiana Penn State game. You and I have long loved updates on where scouts are at college games. What the hell else would football scouts be doing on a football Saturday other than scouting? How say you?
It's the dumbest thing, Dave. That's their job. I don't know.
Oh, there's scouts there? Hey, guess what, everybody? The Vikings showed up to play their game today. What?
I don't understand. I get it, I guess, but there's very famous stories of general managers doing actual little in-person work and then drafting that player. It's you know how many stories there are of players being have you talked to that team? Nope, never did. Never talked to him once. And they drafted me anyways. Like, it happens all the time. So what does it matter that that's their job? Their job is to go scout. They're going to see play. The Jets were going to go watch every quarterback. Well, no shit. Have you seen their roster? Of course they're watching every quarterback.
Yeah, what a reason to celebrate their whereabouts on a football game Saturday. Yeah, they're doing their jobs, in other words. Geoff Schwartz does the job and how on Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You on Fox Sports and Beyond. We always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon as we head down the stretch with the Big Ten and beyond in college football season. Thanks, Geoff Schwartz.
Take care, buddy.
Make love. I can't wait to give us an update on the make love situation, too. All right, there goes Schwartz. Here we go, too. We'll talk to you on Friday with Smetana and beyond. Until then, for all the gang here on Football America, thanks so much, my fellow Football Americans. It's been a thin slice of heaven.